I love you. Zoinks! Like, welcome back, couch potatoes. I'm not going to do that voice the whole time. That's a very
I thought Matthew Lillard was in the studio.
Oh, stop it now. You're too kind. No, it's not Matthew Lillard. It's the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. If you didn't catch those catchphrases, we're not making this shit up. All right?
No, man.
You should know about Scooby-Doo and his band of mischievous teenagers who grow up in this movie.
Yeah. They're not even seen as teenagers, surprisingly.
I don't think
as
so.
A kid,
no, I think they're like out of... at least they're adults in that first... Like, they could be 18, 19, some of them. I don't know.
They're... You get the teenager... I think you actually get them in college. I think they mentioned them as being in college.
Okay.
In the next one. In the second film. Which we're also talking about today, but that's...
Wait. They go back to college?
Don't you remember they had that flashback scene where they like see a photograph? They go back to their like treehouse
where they met. Oh.
Well, no, they're just playing frisbee. They just they go to the treehouse and they see a photo of them all. Yeah,
and younger Scoobert. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He headbutts right into a tree, and everybody just like starts laughing. Whereas if my dog ran headfirst into a tree, I'd be like, "Oh fucking shit, she's dead!"
I don't know. I got a little tank baby. I'd probably be like,
"Yeah, it's true. Yeah, your dog could probably run into a tree, no problem." Zelda, oh, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're talking Scooby-Doo, and this is I'll put it down here on the podcast officially. This is my favorite show as a child. Like I watched Scooby-Doo more than any other show. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of VHSs of Scooby-Doo. The VHSs that had behind the scenes clips.
Yeah, I had those
the Mystery
too.
Inc. group. Yeah, you remember those? Yeah, right. But they're in between each episode, so you'd watch one episode and then be like behind the scenes of Mystery Inc.
That's how I learned that Shaggy used to be referred to as Buzz.
Yeah, that's true. So crazy.
Fuck.
Oh man, dude. We're talking the live action films today. Definitely dragged my parents to see these in theaters. It was some of my favorite fucking movies as a kid. I loved it. First one came out in 2002. I was just 9 in regards to human years, and in 2004 is when the sequel came out. So I'm just 11. Super fucking right age for these films.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right up my alley.
Yeah.
And I remember many nights.
What was the year that it came out again?
2002.
2002.
The first one, at least.
So I was 10, right? Yeah. Yeah, because it was around my birthday that I went to see it. And in fact, I saw this movie 3 times in the same week. I went twice on the same day, which I believe was my birthday. My grandma, my grandma took me out, and she usually took me to dinner. Bought me something I wanted at a store, and then we went to a movie. Very pampered. Nice. And I wanted to see Scooby-Doo, so we saw Scooby-Doo. And then that night, my mom was like, "Oh, your brother and your family wanted to see that with you." And I was like, "Well, I really liked it. What's going on?" But by the
best part about all that is I imagine you as a bearded 10-year-old child. Like I can't imagine you. Like I can't imagine unbearded Blake.
Well, just imagine the picture that I drew of us for the icon.
Right.
Yeah, that's more accurate. That's fair. Almost
clean,
as beefy.
Shaven, faceless.
Almost as beefy, maybe a little more chubby. Maybe a lot more. I don't remember. I was 10. I went through like periods of like really stocky and tall and thin. Like
yeah.
I mean, like it was just that's how I grew. I didn't have like 2 or 3 growth spurts like normal kids. I had like 6 stretching sessions in the laboratory.
Yeah, I've always been just short, dumpy, and green. So it's just, every few years, whenever I'm supposed to like had a growth spurt, I would just get a new human suit. So that was nice.
Oh, I see.
I haven't had to worry about that. Yeah.
That is good. Do they age you
it's
that way
easy
too?
Being green.
Do they just, replace parts?
What was that? I missed it.
How do they age you? Now that you
don't
are
age him, just
I mean your human suit.
Oh yeah, they just make him larger, and then like occasionally he gets a little fatter. Sometimes he gets a little skinnier.
Gotcha.
Sometimes he has hair.
And do you have to go in for this? We haven't really discussed this. Do you have to go in for this, or can they do it remotely?
I mean, like normally I'm able to just do it at home, but like
I see. So you decide, like maybe I want to have a little bit of double chin this week.
It was like that, but now that the government's kind of like triangulated us and found us again, they kind of want to check in every now and then. So they'll constantly peek in and be like, that skin's a little too blue. You're not the fucking Avatar people. And I'm like, okay, all right, go back to white.
So they don't let you go to Skyrim with it.
No, not really. I'm limited. I'm able to do like natural progressions, but I can't drastically change it up. So
I see.
Yeah.
Well, you could, if you want, be you could go jaundice. And
I could, yeah, I could. But then I have to act like I'm in pain, though, or like that something's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would worry.
And I have to wear contacts for that, too. That really hurts. Like, I don't like contacts.
Oh, you can't change the eye color? I guess that makes sense.
Well, they're still kind of my eyes, so...
oh, I see. I didn't realize how tightly fit it was. So Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? I thought they made him real, but he wasn't. It's not as good as I remember. Actually, it's pretty good. The CGI wise, it's for the period, definitely.
It's not. It's not bad. I think the second one CGI actually, even though they got Scooby better. The technical details in the second one are so much worse, in my opinion.
You think so? I'll be honest, I paid attention a little less in the second one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of funny because I was looking up the reviews because both of these films were, like, severely panned by critics, right?
Sure.
Like, the first one had, like, maybe a 20% or a 30%, and the second one is about the same, maybe a little better. But, like, when I was reading the reviews, like, Roger Ebert, my favorite film critic, say what you want, I don't care. That was who I grew up reading. He gave it a 1.5 star, the first one, I believe. And he gave the second one 2. So he was like, they've improved on Scooby-Doo's animation. That's about it. And then it's just like, oh, fuck. Oh. As a kid, it really hurt because I was just like, oh, but I loved them. Maybe I'm not as knowledgeable as films as this great man is. And it's just like, oh, I'm fucking 10. Like,
so if we get into this first film, like I said, I saw it 3 times in theaters as a kid. I'll have a special place in my heart for this movie till the day I die. But on a rewatch as an adult, I will up front say maybe it's a little bit racist.
It's got a lot of issues. Yeah. So let's get into it. Yeah, I'll dive on in.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's both of the films are directed by Raja Gosnell, and the writer. One of my favorite facts to share around with people that typically blows their mind because they don't realize it is James Gunn. Before James Gunn proved he could handle a beautiful team atmosphere with Guardians of the Galaxy, he was proving it way back in 2002 with Scooby-Doo Gang.
There are some really funny things in this script.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes that it's immediate. Like, once I knew, like, maybe 10, 15 years ago, whenever Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and I looked him up and was just like, oh, that's the guy who did Scooby-Doo. Oh, cool. Once I rewatched Scooby-Doo with that knowledge, it's just like, oh yeah, that's a James Gunn joke. Yep. Oh, okay, I can see that. 100%. Yep, that's a precursor to a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Like, it's great. Like, you can see his style. It's still there. Raja Gosnell, I didn't really research him. I don't know if, Never Been Kissed, Home Alone 3. Oof. Beverly Hills Chihuahua. The Smurfs. Okay, I'm gonna stop before I don't like this guy anymore. My gosh. That's quite a filmography. But no, the directing's not bad. The writing is really hilarious in my opinion. Like, I loved a lot of they're kind of tired and lame jokes, but they're still fun. But the story itself follows the Mystery Inc. group. We'll talk the cast later once I'm just going to do a quick synopsis here. But the Mystery Inc. group, at the very beginning, they stop a most recent ghost. Like, that's what they do. If you've watched the television show, that's what they do.
It's the Juggalo ghost.
Yeah, thank you.
That's not what they
By
call
the way,
it. Just joking.
Okay.
It looked like something off of an Insane Clown Posse.
That's hilarious. Yeah, true. And it's like, it's even funnier too, because if you look up the poster, like if you go to the Wikipedia page and look up the poster they have for this, that's the ghost in the background.
Yeah.
And he is the first 5 minutes.
He's
gone in the first 5 minutes.
From being a kid too. I was like,
it's so weird.
They tricked me. But, whatever.
Yeah,
Scooby-Doo was always like about a misdirection, even though it was exactly the same every time. There was always something that they wanted you to pick up on that was
Did you
wrong.
ever watch a pup named Scooby-Doo?
Yep.
It was there's like a little spin-off where they go back to when all of the gang funnier. Is Huh?
It was way funnier. I think the writing was really good for that show.
Oh yeah, it was really good. It was, but there's literally a character that Fred is so hell-bent on being the villain in every single one, like every single episode, and I think his name is Red Herring. And it's so funny. Like, it's like when you mentioned that, it's so true. The show is always about misdirection, and that's the very beginning of the movie. It opens up with them solving a case, unmasking the ghost, and then they go out to all the public because they're becoming a big thing. This is a continuation of the television show. It's not rewriting any of that canon. It's just continuing on from it.
If the canon matters for the TV
show. Exactly. This makes it part of the Batman DC cinematic universe. Oh, does it? They've helped Batman before in the TV show, so it has to be. But they go out to the big public, to all the media. Everybody's wanting to ask them questions. And this is where you start realizing that all the members of the group are having their own personal gripes, except for Shaggy and Scooby. They're really just there.
Right.
But like Velma, Daphne, and Fred, they all have their own like power struggle going on, where it's just like one wants to be recognized, one's taking all the credit, and then the other one is tired of being the damn damsel in distress. Respectively, that being Velma, Fred, and Daphne. I don't know why I just said 1 and 1 for everything.
Yes.
But like, it's bothering them, and right at the very beginning, within the first like 5 minutes of the film, they split up. The gang breaks apart.
Broken.
They all go their separate ways. And it's just like, oh shit, it's like, that's not what I was expecting with this movie. It was kind of sad as a kid. I was like,
it was.
Ah, fuck, where do we go?
It really was.
But we quickly...
Which is like strange that this is like the same plot as Zombie Island. I think they took a lot of inspiration from that movie for this script.
Yeah, as they should have. But after that, once they're all split apart, you cut to the beach where Scooby and Shaggy are most certainly not smoking marijuana on the beach.
No, they are not. They're making eggplant burgers. What are you talking about?
They're making eggplant burgers, of course.
Pass the Dutchie.
That song is so prevalent for them. Oh, I love it.
Oh,
but yeah, they get an invitation. They're invited out to Spooky Island. By the owner of the island, it's a theme park, by the owner of the theme park, Emil Mondavarius. And, they all go out there, Scooby and Shaggy are like, alright, there's an all-you-can-eat buffet, we're in. So they go, and they meet Fred, Velma, and Daphne, who are also all invited. And when they get to the island, they realize that the people who are entering the theme park all very excited, very like, how you are when you go into a theme park. You're really pumped, you're full of anxiety and adrenaline. You're like, fuck yeah, let's do this! But the ones who are leaving, they're quiet. And they're weird. And they're very like, what up, dog? Why you in my space, dog?
Back up out of my grizzle, dog.
That's it. You back up my grill, brah. Yeah, the very like heavy late 90s, 2000s,
slang,
appropriate teenagers, slang, high schoolers, yeah. But that's the mystery. That's the mystery that Emil Monteverest has invited the Mystery Inc. group to solve, is what the fuck's going on with the youngsters. And that's it. That's the mystery, is what's happening to these crazy college kids coming to this theme park. Why are they all coming in excited youth and leaving, I don't know, businessmen headed to work? Like
the mystery is before them. They decide to split up because they're not formally back together yet. And
they still all want to prove themselves.
They all discover different things about Spooky Island, which is what the place is called. And they come back around to spoilers. The monsters are real.
What?
Oh my!
How dare they?
God! So that was advertised in the trailer, but they've done that in every single Scooby-Doo movie since the 2000s.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of gotten sad after a while. And that's the other thing too, is the monsters. They're like these big, tall demon things, like very lanky, long-eared. They look
dog-like a little bit.
Yeah. They're like one of my least favorite things about this movie, is because the CGI on them just looks so dumb.
It does look terrible. I say that I did think them funny as a kid, but not much as an adult.
Well, I mean, that's also the thing, is like they're not used to scare, which again, it's Scooby-Doo. Like, you're trying to appeal to kids, you're not trying to scare the crap out of kids. Mm-hmm. But like, it's a big, tall, creepy monster. Like, I should expect to be a little frightened from them. There were times in the TV show when I was a very, very young kid where I was like mildly scared. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, they're just used for like complete props. Like, there's one time where one of them's like foot catches on fire and it's like hopping up and down trying to beat out its foot while the rest of it's catching on fire, and it's like you're just silly jokes. Like,
they allergic to the sun like vampires.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I love it.
So let's go ahead and talk about the cast real quick.
Yeah, let's break them apart. There's a lot of good here.
We got the leader of the group, Fred Jones, played by Freddie Prinze Jr. He didn't have to try too hard to blend into his role.
Nah, he just had to be a 90s bro.
He just had to be a 90s bro, and
he fucking nails it.
He nails it. A 90s bro who is into ascots, man.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like, again, like, Fred's always the one that's kind of like a little different in regards to personality with every show.
Yeah.
Like, in the old show, he is a leader. He is, very much all right, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, he's like, we're going to split up. Daphne and me are going to go over here. We're totally not going to be kissing. Velma and Shaggy and Scooby are going to go over there. Like, have fun. It's just like, that's what he was always doing. And then the pup named Scooby-Doo, he's like a kind of just like a dumb, screamy, like, he was like, that's the face, I think he was also he did a lot of traps in that show. I think he was like a trap.
Yes,
man.
He had some kind of tactical genius that he implemented with Velma's technical genius.
Yeah.
The shit they pull off in that show is so ridiculous compared to the original show. It adds a little bit of like the childhood imagination to it, I think.
Yeah.
And it's good. About this movie though, he didn't have to do too much really to get Fred Jones. He didn't. No. He does the job very well, but it is also still like a blank canvas with good timing. He's got good timing. I'll give him that.
He's got a lot of hilarious jokes, especially when he's just like there's a plot in the story where your souls are the people who are changing, spoilers, their souls are being taken out, right, and they're being replaced by these crazy monsters. And their souls are just put into a vat, and there's one scene where Shaggy like picks Fred's head, his soul, out of the vat, and Fred's just like, "They took my body, man, but please, like, I'm still the best looking head in here, though, right?"
Just like, he's so vain.
Fucking love it, man.
Yeah, I think the script honestly is pretty good. It's just like that. I feel like they didn't quite have the budget to support it, maybe with some of the graphics.
I think they were just trying to make it just complete, just for kids. Like, I don't think they were trying to like go crazy ham on it.
You're probably right, but it is definitely watchable for adults. I'll go ahead and give that. Daphne Blake, surprise, surprise. Playing opposite of Freddie Prinze Jr. is Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It works, man.
Yeah.
It just fucking works.
It does.
When you have something that works, you don't split it up.
That's true. I feel kind of the same way as I feel as Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character. She does the job, but they both do. I feel like caricatures of those classic cartoon characters.
Yeah. They take them a little further, but they don't do much to undermine them. And like the thing they do with Daphne in this that I absolutely loved is they made her a martial artist.
Yes,
like she's trained herself.
That was cool. Like,
because she's tired of being the damsel in distress, and I love that. I was just like,
it. Yeah. So
she's got a great finale scene. Like that big moment where they're all like solving the mystery and doing all the thing. Like, we'll talk about that soon, but like she has a great moment in there where she's fighting an actual wrestler. Who's the wrestler?
He's a luchador. Let's see.
Is it
Zarcos? He's played by
Sam Greco.
That's right. Salvatore Sam Greco.
That's awesome. Yeah, he was that scene is fun where you watch Daphne, like, even though it's a little goofy and like you can tell they're definitely hamming it up for the choreography, but like, I don't know, I like giving Daphne that extra oomph to that character because in the show she's typically just a damsel in distress, like she gets captured or whatever, and then they sometimes they'll save her, sometimes she gets free, but this one they're just like, no, we're giving her that power. Like, she's not gonna get caught after the first 10 minutes and not get herself out of it, by herself.
I think that was a good choice, especially for it being fairly. It was 20 years ago. Shit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh God,
I don't want to think about it.
And just this and the fucking watching Batman Returns just last week.
I know, right?
Damn. Oh, this is still this week. It was still this week that we watched that. Man, I really am getting old. So now on to the stars of the show. Matthew Lillard should have received an Oscar for Norville Shaggy Rogers. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm in agreement there.
Some kind of reward. I'm sure he got like People's Choice Award or something. I don't know. I didn't research this at all.
He embodied that character. Like, so it's crazy because it's like Frank Welker is iconic as the voice of Fred Jones, as Scooby-Doo. Right. I think he even did Shaggy at one point when, Casey Kasem wasn't there. But, like, those were the voices of these characters. You always talked about Frank Welker, you always talked about Casey Kasem. Whenever you talked about Freddy or Shaggy in particular, or Scooby even. But now everybody knows Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. Like, he has surpassed Frank Welker, or as Casey Kasem, as Shaggy. Like, you wouldn't think it, but that man is the character.
He really is, and I believe he loves it.
Oh, 100%. And I love him, Matthew Lillard. If you ever hear this and you want to come on the show, please, by all means, you're one of my favorites.
Yeah, that'd be great. We could talk
I watched you in Scream, and then I watched you in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, we could talk about your old films. I like I think it's Salt Lake City Punk is the name of the movie. Have you ever seen that?
I don't remember. I remember a movie where he was a baseball player.
excuse me, this is not about that.
There is SLC Punk. Yeah. Comedy drama.
It's
really I have
good.
seen that, but no, I remember him in Summer Catch. That's the other movie I remember.
Yeah, he's fantastic in that. My buddy introduced me to that movie, and I was like, man, that was really good. I think is what got me into like independent films and stuff, because you realize, I don't know how independent that film was, I suppose, but it had that feel that it cuts the norm. It cuts the cookie cutter. Which that's punk rock, so it works.
But no, I think it's just hilarious that of all of Matthew Lillard's films, I first watched him in Scream, and yes, that says a lot because I watched it very young, and that was one of the films I had to sneak past my parents. Like, I don't think they ever knew I watched Scream until I was like much older and watched it. And I was just like, oh, wow, yeah, this is a good movie. This is crazy. I was like, I've totally seen this before. But, like, yeah, it's hilarious that I watched him as that character and then watched him as Shaggy and was just like, oh, my God, he's such he's a good person. He's just a stoner dude. He's just misunderstood.
So, to round out the human foursome of Mr. Inc., we have Linda Cardellini playing Velma Dinkley. This is now going to become a love letter to Linda Cardellini.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You're great.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's amazing. Well, she was also a childhood crush because I'm just attracted to 100%. Bookish women.
Yeah.
Sure. And so it's just Velma was for a long time one of my biggest crushes in regards to my childhood. So when I saw her live action, I was just immediately Linda Cardellini. You are my Velma forever.
I can't disagree with you. I always liked women who knew how to think for themselves. Human beings. I like human beings. Greg, did you know that?
I could understand.
So we.
No, I was
I don't know.
I was looking up to see if there was anybody else that was auctioned to play these characters, and I couldn't find anybody for Velma. But I think it's hilarious because Jim Carrey was originally attached to play Shaggy.
He's too
while
old.
Mike Myers was also interested in the role. I don't know if he was too old. Let's see here, because he's 60 right now, so he would have been 40 back then. And Matthew Lillard is 52. Matthew Lillard's only 8 years younger.
Okay,
it's a decade, but
seems
still
a lot younger. Probably because
this is also around the Ace Ventura time days.
Well, it's a little bit.
Well, it's a much
later.
after. Yeah.
But I just feel like Jim Carrey was so saturated in my childhood that he must be 1,000 years older than Matthew Lillard.
Here's a cool one. We mentioned Emil Montevideo, that he was played by Rowan Atkinson.
Right.
Wonderfully played by Rowan Atkinson. But apparently Tim Curry was also offered the role.
That would have worked.
He, however...
Honestly, I feel like Jim Carrey would have worked better for that role than Shaggy, personally.
Yeah, he might have, yeah. But apparently Tim Curry turned down the role after he found out that Scrappy-Doo was in the film.
If you know the film, that is the best joke.
That is hilarious. I love it. And we didn't mention, but Neil Fanning does the voice of Scooby-Doo, and he does a pretty decent Scooby-Doo. It's not Frank Welker. In fact, they had Frank Welker do voices in this movie, mostly just the weird monsters. But if you're gonna hire Frank Welker to do random cameo voices, why not hire him to do Scooby-Doo? Sorry, Neil Fanning. No offense.
Was he not doing the voice anymore? I could imagine that voice getting hard to do as you get older.
Yeah, it could definitely hurt.
A lot of
that. But he was doing it. Okay, I just looked it up. He started doing the voice in 2002. So like right when this movie came out was when he started doing the voice.
That's so weird.
Wow, who did the voice in the show? I always thought he was the voice of the... That's crazy. Don Messick. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, anyhow, we did mention that Scrappy-Doo is in this, so Scott Innes plays Scrappy-Doo. And they both do the voices pretty perfectly, I would say.
Yeah.
Scrappy-Doo, just that one scene he's in, is a handful. It's pretty hilarious.
Right. It's time you make a decision!
Puppy power!
Oh God, Freddy peed on me. There was a time in my childhood where I knew this movie almost by heart. Like right. I watched it way too fucking much.
Yeah.
But I think that's
closing
that's
statements
it, right?
time. Yeah, let's do some closing statements in this movie.
I think it is a fun time capsule. You know, it's a very like early 2000s, like turn of the century.
It has that
film.
Feel.
Like it has a lot of. Yeah, it's got that feel. It's very saturated in that time period, but it's very nostalgic. Like I don't care. Like it reminds me of a lot of my childhood. It's so much fun. You know, the performances are great. Like even if they're all hamming it up like crazy, they're great. Like you know, I want to give all of them power, all of them props. You know, obviously Matthew Lillard, Linda Cardellini, they did amazing. But like even Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. They both did great.
Yes,
and
they did.
My only issue with the movie comes in as we mentioned, we didn't really talk about it too much, but there is some mild racism, specifically involving voodoo. Like I don't know how much research they even tried to do into.
I have
voodoo.
No
It
idea.
didn't seem like they did.
I have no idea, and. But yeah, they had this one white dude being the voodoo guy.
Nagu Tuana.
That's it. Thank you, and that helps me. Stephen Greaves, I guess. And for that thing, I don't know if I feel right about that. I'm pretty sure it's religion based in African traditions, so that's a little weird. And, but you know, it definitely felt like something that somebody would put together for an amusement park. And that's what the place is.
Right.
So it fit with the movie, but yes. And you know, like, I feel like that is the kind of thing if Spooky Island existed today, they would have been doing a rebranding when
exactly.
When we broke to 2020, if not a little bit sooner, because like they do all these like dances and chanting and stuff too, with people in varying dress that is appropriating other cultures.
It's very also stereotyping voodoo.
Yeah,
because I feel like. We've had many a conversation with Professor Ron Valdeskald about how voodoo is significantly misrepresented in media.
Right, yeah.
And, it's very heavily so here. There's a lot of it. But that was just a mild issue I had. It is an issue, but it's not a huge part of the movie because the most focus is on the gang, the Mystery Inc. crew. My biggest issue in actuality with this film, though, is the CGI and the editing. Because there is a lot of very shoddy, and it's of the time period. It's not bad. I'll admit it's decent editing for 2002. But like the editing, there's so many like. So I watched this movie a lot. We had a version of the DVD that had deleted scenes, and not even knowing that there are deleted scenes, you can tell that there are a lot of scenes cut in this film. Yeah. Specifically moments where Shaggy goes from being like perfectly calm and searching for his friends, and then there's a jump cut and he is fucking terrified. And the reason is because he just watched a couple people get their souls fucking pulled out of their bodies and put into a vat. And it terrified the fuck out of him. But you don't see that in the theatrical cut. He's just going, Fred? Velma?
Yeah.
And in a jump cut, and he's just like... It's just like, what the fuck happened there? There's nothing that blatant. That's the most blatant one. But there's a lot of scenes where it's just like, you can tell there's something cut in between, because it's like, where did this character go? Like, how did they get here?
Right.
Like, the last time we saw them, they were up in their room or something. Like, it's just, yeah, that's my only issue is really, I still give it 3 stars. It's a very fun, nostalgic film.
Excuse me. Yeah, I got a lot of nostalgia for this movie. I think, honestly, for a kid movie, it's fairly well put together, very entertaining. The rewatch spoiled it a little bit for me, but I still think I enjoyed it all in all. There's definitely a lot of fart jokes that me and my brother tried to recreate. But
we might have at my house too.
Yeah, gotta love brothers. And yeah, I'm not such a fan as an adult, though. I'll have to admit that. So it gets a face, though. I'll keep it at that. Before we move on to Scooby-Doo Monsters Unleashed, Scooby-Doo 2 rather, Monsters Unleashed, because it needed both a number and a subtitle. I feel like a lot of movies do that, and maybe that's not a bad thing. Moving on, Soda Pop break.
Oh, wakey, yo, wakuse, yo, biko, bottle, lido, lico, break a leg.
That was in the first movie, Greg.
I know. But it's fun. It's a good chant.
It's a good chant. Welcome back to Green and Faceless on the Couch.
Here we are.
I don't even remember saying if I was the Faceless Leon, and this was Green and Faceless on the Couch, a podcast about movies and TV. And that's probably the latest I've ever said that in an episode, if it is.
Shit. Change your record books, everybody.
Yeah, change the record books. Welcome back.
Yeah, before we move on to Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, as the poster says, got monsters? I guess that was their tagline. I want to throw out another green ketchup. I want to squirt some of my good goo all over you.
Oh,
and
boy!
I went and I saw an absolutely horrible film in the theaters this weekend, and it was so much fun. I knew it was going to be bad. So I'll tell people if you
give them.
Yeah. Go ahead. Write down in your notebooks what it is. Put it in the comments. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments right now, and then I'll give you a couple seconds, and then you can hit play and see if you were right. It was Jurassic World Dominion.
You
Absolute
were right.
Trash.
you were all right,
everybody. Oh my god! Let me tell you. If you've seen the first Jurassic World. I know we went with you, me, your wife, and Professor Ronvold the Scald were there, and we went and saw it. We all had a decently fun time. It was a very nostalgic. It was basically, it was kind of like what's the new Star Wars Force Awakens?
Force Awakens, yeah.
Where they were just kind of just doing the same shit, the exact same shit as the prequels did. And they were, or as the movies before them did, I should say.
Right.
But yeah, but like it was fan servicey. There wasn't a lot to it. It was still fun. Still had some good action. Chris Pine was a pretty good action hero, like star for that first film. And then Jurassic World, the second one came out. Its name is Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. I had to pull deep on that one. I think it's Fallen Kingdom.
Where are they pulling this out of their ass?
Yeah, it was absolute trash. Like, worse than the third Jurassic Park film. Like, here's where I am with the Jurassic Park films. The first one, a goddamn masterpiece.
Yeah, of course.
Like, absolutely.
The best of movies.
The second one, your typical sequel, like, we need to make, reel in that money, man. We want the money. So it's like, it's a good film, but they weren't, like, going ham on it yet. The third one, we kind of ran out of ideas. Let's just throw in some crappy jokes and hope they laugh. Like, the only thing I remember about the third one, legitimately, is that there is a moment where Alan, played by Sam Neill, has a dream, and in that dream, he turns on an airplane and sees a raptor in the seat next to him, and the raptor goes, Alan. Like it literally says the words Alan, and then Sam Neill wakes up like, oh my god.
He's traumatized.
He's traumatized by a raptor saying his name. It's so scary. No, it's goofy as fuck off.
He's traumatized of raptors, and somebody said his name during his terrifying dream.
Alan. It's the goofiest shit. It's all I remember. But the second Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they jumped the shark. If you don't know, I don't know if the kids use that phrase anymore because none of you fuckers have seen Happy Days, but it's when you go way too long with a franchise where you've did everything you could do, and now it's time to say, fucking stop. And we were saying that in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. We were telling Colin Trevorrow, the director and writer, we were all saying, hey, no. This is getting stupid. Let's stop. And he did Jurassic World Dominion because Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom made a shit ton of money. And I'm telling everybody out there right now, if you've managed to avoid seeing Jurassic World, continue to avoid it. It's not worth the theater money. Don't give them ideas to continue the franchise. Let the franchise quietly end. You can watch it when it comes out on streaming, and you can do so for free. That's when you'll watch it. You'll like it much more on your television.
Come out on Tubi. It probably will.
That's not to say that people won't like Jurassic World. If you've enjoyed the Jurassic World film so far, if you are so fan heavy on the Jurassic Park franchise, you'll still love this film. I'm not going to deny that.
I think people just want dinosaurs in movies, and I am for that. But it doesn't have to be the same franchise. Yeah, and the dinosaurs could just be there. Give me a new world where it's people, regular civilization people, but they have dinosaurs. Just do it.
Right.
Not Dinotopia either, because they did that on the TV.
That's what this movie does that. This movie released the monsters onto land, and now humanity has to learn to survive with the dinosaurs. And of course, you got your greedy businesses. That was the end plot. Spoilers. That was the end plot for Fallen Kingdom. Is so Ila Nova or whatever.
So they planted the dino to them.
So whatever yeah, pretty much, yeah. Whatever the island is in Jurassic Park, Ila Novera, I can't remember.
I don't know.
Whatever that island is, it basically bursts into flames in the second one, and they save some of the dinosaurs, and some rich people take it back to their house and start betting on the dinosaurs, and then they get free because a human that is. Realizes that she's like, they're clones, just like it's a long story. I won't get into it. But she's just like, the dinosaurs are like me. They're all just clones. So she hits a big red button and opens up all the gates, and the dinosaurs break free and then take over the world, basically.
Wow.
Yeah,
and that's that's the movie.
That was the second one. Yeah, the third one, the Dominion that I just saw this week. It continues basically that story where humans are learning to survive with dinosaurs. It's a peaceful, they can do it. It's fine, I guess. Okay. Occasionally, 30 people die a day from a raptor attack, but that's whatever. Like, that's just life. That's just life
now. We did this to ourselves. Yeah. I mean, I can accept. I mean, they did it. They did it to themselves. We gotta live with it now.
And then there's a subplot of the clone girl, trying to determine whether or not she can be her own person because she's a clone girl. Like, she's like, I'm not me, I'm just a clone of me. And, there's all that existentialism. That's wild and out there. And then there's a business whose big plot is to destroy. They have a lot of farms, I guess. They plant a lot. They have a lot of crops out there, a lot of seeds that they sell. And they make a version of a locust that will basically eat all plants but their plants. And they don't realize that this is going to cause a massive famine throughout the entire world when they release these locusts out to,
Don't.
And at the same time, Yeah, apparently, it's just like, it's going to drive up production. It's like our stuff will sell crazy. It's like, yeah, your stuff will sell crazy, but millions are going to fucking die because there's going to be a famine. And at the same time, everybody's going to know you're behind it because they literally show a shot of a farm with the company's seed and a farm with another company's seed, and the locusts swoop in, eat all the other company's crops, but leave the villainous corporation's seed perfectly fine. And it's like, yeah, that's not even going to hold up more than like 20 minutes in court. Like, you'll just deliver that information to a judge and they'll be like, yeah, that corporation's guilty as fuck all. Like, it's the dumbest plot ever. It's so stupid.
Go seize all of that company's seeds and they are no longer a company.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Okay. I don't recommend going to see it. But that's the green ketchup of the day.
I do feel like that's a little too real world right now, to be fair.
That's fair.
So, yeah, secret review of the entire Jurassic Park franchise. And I don't know. Maybe we'll do a playlist on that eventually. But here we are, back to our sequel smash, Scooby-Doo 2. Monsters Unleashed. They done unleashed the monsters. So, Coolsville, this one's all about Coolsville, guys. Like, they really do the deep cut. They bring all the characters in from a puppet.
It's not rad. It's not neato. It's cool.
It's Coolsville. But Coolsville can take care of itself. That's a quote of Fred Jones, just so you know.
Direct quote. No context behind it whatsoever.
No. None needed.
I think Coolsville sucks.
That's another direct quote from Fred Jones. I do think I like Freddie Prinze Jr. better in this movie, actually.
I love that line, though. It's like, why would you say that? Why at all would you say that?
Man, he's like, you're going to make it look like I said Coolville sucks.
And he looks right at the camera, too.
Like, what an idiot. It's beautiful.
It's such a good delivery.
This movie, Coolsville, before they royally piss the town off, is dedicating a museum wing, the Museum of Criminology in Coolsville. They have a whole wing just dedicated to the mystery solved by Mysteries Inc. Mystery Inc. And all these costumes are there. And on the opening night, the pterodactyl ghost shows up, but it's not the pterodactyl ghost because the costume's there. It's something else, and it seems more real, and it can fly really well and do scary things. There's also a man figure with this big metal mask on that has an aluminum afro. That's not a good description because it's more like grass. Like aluminum grass for hair.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It is very strange.
It's not the most intimidating of villains.
Right. And they steal a couple of the costumes, and in trying to stop the pterodactyl ghost, Mystery Inc. basically wreck this museum. Yeah, when Velma, Fred, and Daphne are back at the HQ, and Mystery Inc. has an HQ, apparently. And it's pretty chic, pretty cool, pretty comfy.
It's pretty rad, man.
It's a rad pad. And they start talking about how Shaggy and Scooby fucked it up. But Shaggy and Scooby were listening behind the counter. And they get sad. So this story, their storyline, is trying to be more capable members of the group and not be such screw-ups.
Yeah.
And so they go out and they start investigating by themselves, which is not a great idea. But they find out a lot of stuff eventually.
Yeah, they don't do a bad job.
They do. This movie has Seth Green in it.
Yeah, he's the curator of the museum.
His name is
which is hilarious.
Patrick Wisely.
Yeah. And the love interest for Velma.
Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It is very cute. She is very, very shy when it comes to this man. And when he comes over, she hides. And then Daphne decides she's going to help her get, ready for a date. And puts her in this, like, latex or rubber costume. And maybe it's leather. No, it's latex. It's definitely latex. And it makes just the most horrible noises, and she has no idea how to move in it. And,
and she's in heels, too.
Yeah, she's in heels, too. And Daphne took her glasses. And it's probably, like, no, I'm not going to say it's the most sexist thing that these pair of movies have done. Because that last one had a lot of, like, derogatory talking down to women when the monsters were taking over,
And also it had when there's a moment where Fred's soul goes into Daphne's body.
Yeah.
And he has a moment where he looks down his shirt and he's just like, hell yeah. And he's like,
I can look at myself naked. Yeah. Yeah. I used to think that was hilarious as a kid. Rewatching, I was like,
I did too. Yeah. And as a kid also, I was just like, I would totally do that if I was there.
Right. And then it's like, oh, I see what's all terribly wrong with that now as an adult.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I were a woman, like had a woman's body to start with, I would look at it all day.
Same here.
But I suppose I don't know. Haven't been born a woman.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll wait till the next go.
Wait until the government's just like, all right, it's time to reboot you guys.
Yeah, shit. So
I'm down for a reboot, government, if you're willing.
Yeah, sure.
Just saying.
Yeah, I'll try it. All the different flavors.
I'll take
of
a new
rainbow.
human skin.
So, yeah. They go on this date and it's terrible, and that's beyond the story now, I feel like. We do have a couple
But he becomes a suspect then.
He does become a suspect, just so you're aware. But also a suspect, there's two other main suspects. Maybe we'll say three other main suspects, okay? So we got Jeremiah Winkles, played by Peter Boyle. You might know him as young Frankenstein's monster.
I know him. I know him as that, but I also know him from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, that was going to be my second.
My parents watched a lot of that.
Yeah, I really like that his character in that. Frank was the best part of that show, I think.
Agreed.
We also have Dr. Jonathan Jacobo, who might possibly be dead, but he was the original pterodactyl ghost. And he is played by Tim Blake Nelson, who we talked about very recently with Holes. He's just in everything.
He is in everything. And like his first appearance too as the pterodactyl ghost is so funny because it's just like a clear costume, but like obviously it would be kind of frightening coming at you in the sky. Like I would probably react the way the policeman did, which is like falling over and stumbling over yourself.
Right.
But when he lands and grabs the money, and you can just clearly see his face through the beak. It's so hilarious.
He also has really long hair, so I definitely didn't know it was him growing up.
Right. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And you only see him in like the prison breakout scene and in the pterodactyl suit, so it's just like he's hidden pretty well, I think.
So there was a reporter. The last suspect was a reporter by the name of Heather Jasper Howell, played by Alicia Silverstone. And
that's a good name.
What's that?
Heather Jasper Howe is such a good name.
Yeah. And Daphne suspects her for basically no reason at all.
Well, it's just because she's another woman who gets Fred's attention, which is sexist.
You think that was the reason? See, I didn't even read that, so.
Well, it was because it was like right at the beginning. She calls, she like the reporter Heather is like, Fred, what went on here? And you could see Daphne in the background be like, Humph, like what the heck?
Yeah,
why is he getting attention here?
Yeah,
yeah.
And
she tries to drag him away, and yeah.
Yeah, a little less agency for Daphne in this movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
She still gets a fight scene, though.
Yeah, that's a fun fight scene. Even though, so she gets a fight scene with the Black Knight, which is like, I think the first episode of Scooby-Doo. It's one of the early ones, I think. But it's the animation of the Knight is some of the goofiest ever. Like, it's so ridiculous to me. Like, sure, and again, in real life, I would be intimidated by a thing that literally has no body within it and is walking around. It's just armor, and it's swinging and acts at me. That would be scary as fuck. But it looks so stupid. It's got this like big bulbous head.
Yeah. It's like they used Jay Leno's head to cast the armor.
Who did the voice
Jay,
for
maybe
it?
That was rude.
Bob Pappenbrook did the voice of the Black Knight.
I see.
D. Bradley Baker.
I didn't say though.
Ghost.
Jeremiah Wickles, maybe it's Wickles, Old Man Wickles. He was the Black Knight ghost.
That's right. Yeah, the original, the one and only
Kevin Durand. What did you say? Who did you say played the Black Knight?
Bob Pappenbrook did the voice for it.
But mine says it was Kevin Durand.
He did the body work.
Oh, I see. He was in Lost, right?
Yes, he was the military guy.
Yeah. He was also the Blob in X-Men Origins Wolverine, if you saw that.
That's right, he was the Blob. I forgot about that. Oh my god. He might have, like, I don't know. I guess he just did I don't know. It's got voice cast as Bob Pappenbrook as the Black Knight, so I'm assuming he just did the body. Kevin Durand did.
I think,
but I don't know.
Maybe
it's weird. But like, D. Bradley Baker did the voice for the pterodactyl ghost. That's kind of funny, and others. I know that name, D. Bradley Baker. He's famous. Damn it, he's too famous. He's been in like Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, SpongeBob, the Avatar, The Last Airbender. He's in everything. He's a big name, big voice name.
He looks
Ron Valdeskald knows these people.
So, yeah, I think maybe we can move on to closing statements about this movie. I feel like there's definitely less to say about it. It is definitely a movie that's about, hey, let's bring out all of these things from the show and just cram it all together in one thing. Monsters Unleashed. Right. It's like, the worst case scenario movie.
Yeah, some producers came up to Roger Gosnell and James Gunn and were like, hey, the last one made money. That was surprising, right? Make another one. And they're just like, what? Okay. I don't know if that's at all what happened, but that's my interpretation of it. Is like, I think they came in at it with no real plan. They just decided, let's pull from the show as much as fucking possible.
Right.
And deliver just something fun with the same, kind of tired humor and as the last one. They continue the stoner jokes. I fucking love that. That's great.
Sure, yeah.
There's stoner jokes galore in this one.
Sure
like
are.
The movie opens up with the Mr. Ink arriving at the big reveal of the museum opening, and they all get out and they all have their own fans, and it's really cute and adorable. You have a bunch of bookish girls like screaming for Velma. You got Fred, who has all these like hot athlete guys. Yeah. The best is Shaggy. Shaggy's walking along and he just starts sniffing. He's like, what is that? And then like he looks over and you see a bunch of these stoner guys just like all red-eyed, like all like squinting. Like I think some of them have food in their hands. And they're just like, hey man! He's just like, my dudes! And they just like all start signing autographs. Like it's great. I love that shit.
So, my favorite part about that scene is that they pull up in a Mystery Machine limousine.
Yeah. Branding, man. It's all about that branding.
Fucking love
We're going to start driving around the streets where we're at in green and faceless vehicles.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just make it look like
I'll
a big couch.
Yeah. But no, closing statement. I still enjoy this one. It's much less than the first one. The CGI on Scooby himself has gotten better. Scooby looks much better in this film. There's times where he's walking around as a human. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Looks much better than when he was walking around as grandma in the last movie.
That's
At the same time,
Grandma
it begs the question: how many
bad.
fucking but how many fucking people are falling for this shit? Like, you're seeing it and it's like, what the hell? It's so ridiculous. But again, it's the adult in me. You gotta put that.
I believe
you gotta put that shit aside.
I believe Peter Boyle in that scene says, "I'm only talking to you because I feel bad about your brother's deformed nose."
Yeah, yeah.
No, his nose deformity. That's what he said.
Yeah, your giant nose deformity. And it's hilarious too because like in that moment, Shaggy even like his costume is the dumbest thing ever. Yeah. Shaggy's is like he has a gold tooth that he has, he puts a gold tooth over one of his teeth, and then he has a hat on, and that's about it. And when he's talking to Peter Boyle, and he's just like Peter Boyle's just like makes it seem like he is rehabilitated from his criminal ways.
Yeah.
And Shaggy's like, well, I bet you kind of, thank the mystery ink, huh? And he removes his gold tooth and pulls off his hat, and he's like, And Peter Boyle just doesn't recognize him at all. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
He just crushes the nuts, the bar nuts at the table, and he's like, no, heck no, I hate those fucking kids.
I'd kill those fucks.
I love angry Peter Boyle. It's so good.
I do too, but I like the story. I like it was kind of written for me as a kid because as a kid I always felt like a screw up, and at the same time I was a very bookish individual who struggled with relationships. That hasn't changed much, but that was my favorite characters have always been Shaggy and Velma, and in this film both of those personality traits of mine were matched by my two favorite characters. So this movie was one of my favorites as a kid. I almost liked it more than the original.
Really?
I watched it a lot more than the original, I feel like. But at the same time, it's very much more goofy.
Oh, definitely.
They really went silly with this one. There's a lot of dumb jokes, things that are just very stale. But again, my biggest issue is with the editing, and it's so much worse in this film. Right. They even forgot to, again, the editing on Scooby, the graphics on Scooby, a little better. But there are scenes where they literally accidentally edited him out, where he's just not there. Where it's like, they pull Scooby and Shaggy into the Mystery Inc. in the back of the van. They're driving away.
Oh, yeah.
They cut, and there's no Scooby anymore. It's just Velma and Shaggy in the back of the van. And then Scooby appears later in the passenger seat where Daphne was when everybody has moved to the back. And now Scooby is just randomly up front. They just forget him at times. There's a time where him and Shaggy are having a very important heart-to-heart with Velma out by the trash cans. And they only ever show Velma and Shaggy because they accidentally left Scooby out over Shaggy's shoulder about 3 or 4 times. He just disappears.
Man, I gotta say, I didn't quite notice that. I kind of wish I did. But that kind of plays into, my biggest fault with the movie. I'm sorry, if I interrupted your closing statement, did you give it a rating?
I did not. I would just say, I give it 2 stars, and my last issue is that the red herrings are just a little too obvious and a little too suspicious.
Yeah, and the pointed finger towards the correct answer is a bit unfounded, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And the double reveal on the correct answer.
Yeah.
Pretty dumb at the same time, pretty fucking hilarious. Yeah. So
we cuddled.
We cuddled. But no, I give it 2 stars.
I give it a face. It's a movie. It is fun and goofy. I think it's worth watching once. I wasn't as attached to this one as I was the first one growing up. I thought they did it better the first time. I did enjoy seeing all the different monsters as a kid, though. I'll give that. I'll give it that.
Right.
I thought that the acting was a little under par for some people, and maybe a little bit better for others. Like I honestly thought Freddie Prinze Jr. did better in this movie than the other.
That's fair.
I don't feel like
Coolsville sucks.
I think Coolsville sucks. I fucking love it.
Just the inflection he puts on that. There's just a lot of stank on there. Why did you throw so much stank on it?
He's so mad.
You're editing everything to make it look like I'm trying to say that I think Coolsville sucks.
It's like, did you get that?
What? No.
So,
definitely
Linda,
did much better in this one.
Yeah, I do think so. I do. I think Linda Cardellini had a little trouble finding Velma again, like the exact voice. It is a little bit different. She's still great, but like I feel like the script wasn't as well written for Velma as the other script was.
This one more focused on Shaggy and Scooby. Like,
yeah, but at the
other
same
three
time,
have
at the same
they have like good detective moments.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of good group moments among the other three, but they don't get their individual developments. Like I mean, they do the relationship thing with Velma and Seth Green, but like I don't know. The only ones that really get focused on and developed are Shaggy and Scooby.
I can agree to that to an extent, but I feel like more with Shaggy, because I kind of feel like this movie forgets Scooby-Doo. Not just in that physical aspect. That's what I was going to connect with earlier. Not just in that physical aspect that he's not there when he's supposed to be there, but literally I feel like they just threw him in to be the punchline for jokes. 100%.
Yeah.
And, you know, when Shaggy's doing the actual investigation work, they give him a dance scene, which I don't dislike that dance scene. It's fun, but
it's so stupid.
It's really stupid. And that's how they get found out. Spoilers is that he gets hit in the face and his fake afro flies off and lands into somebody's nachos. Yeah. And there's like, hey, that's Scooby-Doo. So I feel like for a movie that's about Scooby-Doo, they don't use him very well. That first movie uses Scooby-Doo very well, I think, and still makes it about the rest of the gang primarily, which I get that. Like, you want the audience to identify with the humans on screen, but they still use Scooby-Doo. Yeah. That scene where Scooby was going to be a sacrifice. He
sacrifice
in the first movie, and Shaggy is coming and talking to him, trying to get him. That is such a good scene.
It's real sweet.
A literal, like an actual good heartfelt scene, and
it literally makes me tear up. And then also that scene, like, has a very abrupt, not like actual ending, but like, you know, it gets to this very heartfelt moment,
right?
And then something happens that's so, like, I mean, it's expected, but also unexpected that, like, even as an adult, I was, like, a little teared up, and then it happened. I was like, holy fucking Christ!
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, what? It's crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. So, yeah, I for that reason, I think I already gave it a face. Like, they both get a face. But 100%, I have to give my vote for the winner to Scooby-Doo. 2002.
Yeah. I have to agree with that. I really, all the way in agreement. The second one just kind of fell off a bit. There's a reason they didn't make a third one. There's a reason they didn't come back for the trifecta.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. To wrap up, there's something that's been bothering me because we've been saying Scooby-Dooby-Doo, and then it reminds me of this issue I have with a movie trailer I've seen recently. I saw the trailer for Lightyear. And, like, everybody knows what Lightyear, you know, it's the spin-off of Toy Story where they're going to do the real-life story of Buzz Lightyear. That's pretty cool. I'm interested. Cool. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. But the part in the trailer that really bothers me is it says, "You know his name," and then it cuts to characters saying his name, and what is said is they have two characters. One screams "Buzz," and the other character goes "Buzz," and then another character goes "Lightyear," and I'm like, so his name is Buzz Lightyear? Like,
Buzz Lightyear.
The trailer literally is like, you know his name, Buzz Lightyear.
He sounds like a cartoon race car.
I don't know why. It was just like saying Scooby-Doo makes me think Buzz Lightyear. And it's just like, it's just been bothering me this whole episode. I have to complain about this at the very end at least. And that's who I am. I'm the Green Traveler from Gorge, a complainer.
And I am the Faceless Leon, a slightly more optimistic complainer. Thank you so much for listening. Safe travels and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.